Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our VIP workshop today. We are going to be talking about growing your practice by focusing on client retention. I am Lauren Detweiler, and I am the content manager for CountingWorks Pro.
And I am Lee Reams, founder and CEO of CountingWorks Pro. And client retention is really one of the main focuses that we built our company in the first place. We focus a lot of our product development around client retention. We consider that one of our strongest attributes in what our system does for you. So I want to make sure that we highlight some of the ideas here today that you can also utilize in your practice and get more benefit from using CountingWorks Pro.
So let's just go through the agenda before we dive in. First, we're going to talk about some of the reasons for churn, why you might lose a client or see reduced revenue. We're then going to run through some of the traits of the most successful practices that we've seen who really excel at this client retention. They do a lot of maintaining constant contact, making it easy for clients to communicate with them, being responsive and transparent, embracing digital experiences, having a website that's mobile friendly, speedy, and has a clear value prop, having a solid 5-star review profile, and also being likable and showing some personality. And then we are going to run through some Q&A at the end as well. So just about this webinar, it's about 30 minutes long, no CPE credit, Q&A at the end, as I mentioned. And this workshop is designed for US-based small tax and accounting practices, but any other business or practice may benefit as well. With that, I will hand it over to you, Lee.
All right, Lauren, let's get started. So your client experience and retention rate are linked whether you like it or not. And what I mean by that is tax and accounting professionals are increasingly being targeted by other pros and other larger startups, companies like Intuit with their live series. You have upstarts like Pilot. You obviously have pressure from amateur DIY type of options. So basically, independent professionals need to start focusing on one of the most important metrics of them all, client retention. I think this is also more important as more of you move into what we're going to talk about later about transparency and value pricing and finding a way to really get more revenue out of your existing client base. If you can slowly migrate clients that used to be paid hourly or project by project to monthly recurring revenue type of programs, obviously your lifestyle is going to be better, your income is going to be better, and you may be able to make more money by working with fewer clients. So according to a survey by American Express, more than half of Americans have scrapped a plan, purchase, or transaction because of bad service. So even more importantly, companies with great experience have a 16% price premium on services, according to PwC. And I think that's important. If you figure out a way to make customer service, your responsiveness, make the customer user experience top-notch, you will be able to charge more. You'll have a higher client retention rate, and more importantly, from those clients, you will have a premium over your competition. So how are leading CPA, EA, and tax accounting practices, and no, I'm not forgetting bookkeepers, improving their client experience and their overall retention? So let's get into it. So let's start with the reasons for churn. They're the obvious, the price shoppers. You might necessarily not be too upset about losing people that are constantly pushing what they want, the perceived value, so to speak, of what they want to pay for your services. A promise of a better financial result. There's a lot of people that will promise the sky and go into some gray areas. That could be a reason. Lack of technology or poor user experience. I think that's becoming a bigger issue. Consumers are expecting the same experience they have it on their Netflix app, their Apple shop, going to Amazon, things like that. Lack of responsiveness. We did a big survey. We'll share some of those results. Lack of responsiveness is something that we see common as ranked by our client base, our clients. And when we see 1-star reviews, responsiveness is usually one of the biggest factors that drive a former client to leave a negative review. And on the contrary, positive responsiveness is one of the number one factors, number one terms that we see on 5-star reviews. Overall customer satisfaction. They outgrow your knowledge or capabilities. This can happen in a business that is growing faster than your capabilities, which makes sense, right? The DIY amateur alternatives, luckily this year, at least in the tax side, was a big huge turnaround for pros because of the added complexity, but that is obviously a reason for churn. A client moves out of state, gets married, businesses shut down because of poor results. People retire, things like that. Client downgrades service level. So those are some reasons for churn. So once we identify them, we can start putting strategies around how to effectively limit the churn. So we say here on the slide, turning churn into retention. So churn is closely connected to client satisfaction. As unhappy clients leave, you lose money. At the same time, the turnover rate is an indicator of how satisfied your clients are overall with your services. So what we're saying is leading practices are realizing that having expertise alone is no longer the main competitive advantage. And what I mean by that is going back to a service like Pilot, who is making it easier for businesses to buy virtual CFO services. There's a perception that their technology is superior to perhaps what independent accountants are doing, and they're even branding themselves against the local accountant. They use an example of, gone are the days when you go to your accountant with a box full of receipts. So obviously, you have the same tech stack that they have, so there's no reason that you should lose clients because you do not have the technology side of things. So, and that's to me part of the user experience. So having a stellar 5-star reputation across your entire user experience, not just your expertise and knowledge. It's how does your client work with you? How do they communicate with you? How do they share documents, e-sign, teleconference teams, whatever it is? How you need a 5-star reputation across this entire experience, from brand awareness, engagement. This is a differentiator in practices that are thriving versus those that are churning and dying a slow death, so to speak. We have identified the following 8 traits of the most successful. And these are from our data. This is what we have seen common amongst our highest performers. And again, we have thousands and thousands of customers. So I think this is good data to look at. So number 1, and this is the most common sense item, but I still hear from pros, I don't want to hear from my clients after tax season if you're just a tax pro. I don't understand why. I mean, life events occur year round. Your clients have situations they encounter year round. And if you're only meeting up or communicating with them once a year, it's going to be too late to plan for those things. So stay with consistent communication. An automated email newsletter like what we do at Accounting Works Pro, weekly blog posts, social media sharing. These are all different funnels, whether they push or pull type of technology that will help you maintain contact with your most desired clients and prospects, right? So focus on sharing content about life events, both business and personal. It is the best way to identify issues that can be planned before it is too late, which I just mentioned. So be consistent with your communications. We see this as well, where professionals might, start something and all of a sudden they stop it. So make sure that you are consistently communicating whatever that frequency works best for you. We have found our best performing practices see more referrals and generate more year-round income because of these consistent touch points. It is a differentiator. Use it. This is part of going above and beyond your competition. It pays off in high client retention. So if you are one of our clients who still has not given us your client database after this workshop, please reach out to customer success if you need help. But let's get that database loaded. The client newsletter by itself pays for the entire subscription to Accounting Works Pro. I guarantee we see too many people that are just getting great reviews, great response, and really driving their practices because of this constant contact. And of course, we're talking about newsletters. Newsletters are, to me, the most essential thing to keeping your clients informed and engaged. And newsletters are not just the email newsletter that goes out. It is the blog that's updated. It is pushing content through social media. If you are not using our social media connections, do so. Even if you're not active on social media, just keeping your name out there. Think about it. It is free. Reaching out to clients when that's where they're spending their time. They're spending their time on social media. Why not have your brand? Make it easy for you to be top of mind. Make it easy for your clients to refer you. So even if you're scared or don't like social media, you should still do it. Content that is relevant to your clients' niches and industries. You may have noticed we have started doing a lot more focused content. We continue to expand into business issues. We've added, I think, 5 to 6 new categories and content related articles in the last couple of months. So definitely check it out if you have not. Industry news and key updates on things your clients need to know in real time. This is part of establishing you as the most trusted advisor. And what does that do? That retains that that relationship with you. It tightens it. So tip, your goal should be not only to perform the job you paid to do, but also to be seen as a voice of authority in your niche. There's a lot of noise on the internet, a lot of writers writing about tax, financial, and entrepreneurship type subjects that they don't really understand the information. A lot of times there's errors in what they're hearing and what your clients are hearing and seeing online. So you need to be that authority. Just threw out a couple examples. If you are not using our newsletters, include timely topics to keep readers engaged, set yourself up as a thought leader in your industry. We're coming out with targeted newsletters and blogs here in the next few months. I am very excited about it, where you could just be pushing content, let's just say about IRS tax problems, for example. So you can have a segment of your practice just targeting a specific industry, and your newsletter and social posts will follow that as well. And what's great about this is automated. Our platform provides an automated format. You can just set it up and let it run. Again, we need your client database, so please get that loaded. Number two, making it easy for clients to communicate with you. We still see pros that like to hide their contact information. People will come through Facebook Messenger. They'll use chatbots. There's all kinds of things now that clients will use, your client portal to communicate with you. One thing that you need to make sure is have clear contact information on your website, your directory sites, and email signatures to make it easier for your clients to access you. You don't want them Googling and then finding old data. Obviously, our higher end packages, our growth products, we deal with a lot of the directory submissions for you. We help manage your overall digital footprint. So that might be of interest to some of you. At the same time, make sure you take security seriously. Obviously, we do here at Accounting Works Pro. We integrate SSL certificates as mandatory as part of the product. We add the recapture tool on your website to try to cut down as much phishing attacks as possible. Nothing's perfect. There's still things that can get through, but the reality is these are trust factors to people visiting your site. So if it was a prospect, the last thing you want is to be a CPA or an accountant EA offering, personal financial advice and not have secure website, not having secure contact forms. Utilize a secure portal. Do not email personal private data. Integrate your portal with our, TeleAccountant with video meeting capabilities, online appointment scheduling, secure messaging features. These are things that are very important. In addition, use eSign. Make it much easier for clients to, sign documents where they need to. Do not send private documents via email. And of course, make it hard on clients by using old school snail mail. You know who I'm talking to. I know there's a few clients that are still stuck, that may be older and haven't, don't understand technology. I understand, not using all digital with them. But the reality is, 99% of your clients should be able to and appreciate the digital workflows. Everyone has a cell phone, a mobile device, and our technology works on all mobile devices, so that makes it easy for you to do that. Number three, being responsive. I spoke about this in the reviews that we see from our professionals. And one of the things I'd like to say is, I know you're busy, your clients know you're busy, but you don't not respond at all. So meaning, what's always nice is, even if you're busy, just send a quick, and a client inquires, just send a quick, hey, I got your message, I'm working on it, I'll get back to you as soon as I can, kind of thing. No one likes to wait around for an answer to a question, especially with something as personal as one's finances on the line, especially if you're making a life decision. They may need to hear from you. And if it takes you 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks to respond, they've already listened to someone else and made a decision that may be a poor one. So respond quickly, even if it's just to acknowledge, which I said, you received the inquiry. This goes a long way in improving your client experience. We did a big survey. Our accountingworks.com marketplace was the sponsor, but we surveyed 2,500 entrepreneurs and high net worth individuals and found that responsiveness was the third most important attribute in an accountant, with knowledge and trustworthy coming in at number 1 and number 2, respectively. And I think we have a chart that says that. So what do your clients care about most? Knowledge, yes, knowledge for sure. You need to know what you're talking about. Trustworthiness. Are you going to scam them? Are you going to put them in products or give them advice that is more like a financial service advisor that's driven by profit versus, them being successful? Responsiveness. And guess what? Friendliness. Having that personal relationship with clients. I know many of you have that. People look forward to talking to you, just seeing you. They're more than just an advisor-client relationship. They are friends. So I think this is an important pyramid item to think about. Number 5 is going to be becoming more and more important, which is the user experience. So aim for transparency. I know this theme has been going through all of the big CPA societies, enrolled agents, and there's a reason transparency is working. Because it takes a lot of the risk out of making a big decision, and it helps you communicate your value in a little bit better way. It really kind of says what you're doing for clients. So no one likes to be nickel and dime. They don't want to think of you as an attorney. When they spend time with you, they don't want to be, how quickly can I get off this call kind of thing. So many clients will actually pay you more if there is a clear picture of the value and services that you are providing. And think about that. I know our tax Twitter world, we have our tax buzz chat, and we talk about this often in that community. Many of our professionals that we see and encounter on tax Twitter are 100% moving to the transparent package service model. And they're basically saying all new clients must sign up that way. And if you haven't tested it out, you can create packages, test out some offers, see what people respond to, but you can also start identifying current clients and create ways that you can move your revenue higher by transitioning clients from an hourly rate to the value package rate. And I was going to say there's more and more competitors coming out. And in reality, the pilots of the world are just big, huge accounting firms. I am a big believer. I buy into the independent professional. I will be backing, the local CPA, people that I know that I can trust, I can develop relationships versus a big corporation. So Accounting Works Pro will always be trying to help you compete against these new threats. A human feeling website that uses package pricing can easily boost your income with existing clients. And we're going to start continuing to push that narrative to our clients as they build new sites, as they start developing niche websites with us and our new platform. So it's definitely something to talk about here in the future as we continue to evolve our product. I already said this, but I'm going to say it again. Do you want clients to think about their relationship with you being on par with an attorney? Probably not, right? I mentioned this. Don't want people cutting conversations short. You want them to share all the details they can. They want to trust you. You want everything to be transparent. So what is value pricing? We have done some workshops on this in the past. Those are in our library. Reach out to customer success if you're having difficulty finding them, or go to our YouTube channel, Accounting Works Pro YouTube channel. We have a ton of video content about value pricing. We've written blog articles about it, but basically it's also known as package-based pricing. This involves creating a clean, clear product out of your service and going from intangible to tangible. And what I mean by here is this is the starter, gold, silver, bronze, platinum type of pricing. It's clear what type of services, bundled services, does it most match my needs, and what is the value of that? So for the buyer side, your prospects don't really know what they're getting from you until they've already paid and experienced your services, right? So by using value pricing, they now can have an idea. You're almost pre-sold of what you're going to do for them. So rather than giving them abstract information about what you will do for them during the hours they pay you, show them the results that they will get from working with you for an exact price. I think this is a huge takeaway from this workshop. So if you are not playing around and testing value pricing, please do that. Number 5, embracing digital experiences. And this goes back to Pilot using the example of an accountant with a box. I don't want that to be the thought that people look at. I don't want them to think of accountants with pocket protectors, and a calculator. I mean, we in this industry are on top of AI. We're on top of automating tasks. We are on top of security. We are on top of moving our clients and their businesses forward. So let's start acting like it and start using the tools that you have available to you. Also, your competitors started to establish new categories when marketing their accounting services. So they're basically kind of repositioning themselves. And even though they're offering accounting, they're making the consumer look at it differently, and which could be a direct threat to you and your retention rate. So enhance your user experience, utilize tools such as simple intake forms, e-sign, secure portal, fast, user-friendly websites, simple to the point websites, not overloaded with a bunch of jargon that people don't care about. Online appointment scheduling, make it easy, take the friction out of people being able to get a hold of you and to speak with you and do business with you. So example, obviously we developed TeleAccountant. A lot of people using Zoom, so other tools, but software like TeleAccountant helps you stand out. It helps you, I think, be more efficient with your time. You can do work from anywhere, anytime. If you integrate online appointment scheduling, our TeleAccountant includes the secure portal. So sharing documents online, doing notes, taking pictures of IDs for compliance, recording these sessions so that people or staff members can, work on it later. Also utilizing tools like e-sign, KBA, that's the requirements to make sure you're working within the IRS regulations. The more personal your virtual office feels, the happier your clients will be. So we know after COVID-19, a lot of people will go back to in-person meetings. They'll prefer that, but not everyone wants to drive anymore. And you also don't want location to be a barrier, competitive barrier when you're finding new clients. So, make your virtual office as friendly and easy to use as your in-house office. And to be honest, I bet you 50% of your clients will prefer engaging with you this way. And if you make it personal, I think you'll get the same type of relationships with your clients. Just a quick screen capture here of our TeleAccountant. Again, we're hosting millions of minutes of meetings per month. And we continue to see more growth here. So if you have not tested out and used the TeleAccountant tool, again, reminder, it is a browser-based tool. So it is not an app-based tool, which means any client can use it from anywhere that has an internet device. They can use TeleAccountant from their phone, their iPad. They can be anywhere that they have a decent internet connection, and they will be able to meet with you. So they don't have to worry about downloading an app. You don't have to worry about multiple users sharing Zoom accounts, things like that. And then obviously integrating it into the portal is an added bonus. Number 6, building a mobile-friendly, speedy website with a clear value proposition. We're going to be talking about this subject more and more. There's a lot of psychology, science, data, whatever you want to call it, about simplifying your website, simplifying your landing pages, simplifying basically your value proposition. And what we're trying to do, and basically think of it this way, the brain works where it starts looking at a page, and if there's too much noise, if it's not clear what they should be doing, the brain has to process every word, every color. If navigation isn't in a place that it should be, it doesn't make sense. So there's a reason why simpler websites are performing better. And this goes into the copy that you're using, speaking in your client's language versus terminology that tax and accountants love. So not streamline, it's not the word. Match your presence with your target audience. So if you are based in Hawaii and you are dealing with, locals in Hawaii, you want your website to have the same vibe. If you are working with SaaS startups, you want the imagery, the copy in your website to speak to SaaS startups. So, highlight the pain points, communicate your value. Consumers take to the web when deciding whom to work with. We all know that. And, our brands are ranked better than competitors. The more reviews they have, the more they're using our tools, the better rank they will have. So you want to have the educational content front and center. You want your clients to be reading your influencer posts. And they make buying decisions all the time from these digital signals. So, if you're well indexed, if you're following our best practices, you have your database loaded, you're following our advice on setting up your website, not making it too complex, you will do better in search. More importantly, especially in May, Google came out with some changes to their algorithm. A couple of years ago, they made mobile first. This year, they're making speed. And it comes down to, believe it or not, it comes down to the bandwidth that the internet uses in loading all this digital content. So it comes down to the environment, to be honest with you. And you're seeing some pushback on Bitcoin. Elon Musk was talking about the energy using to support Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing with our websites and our content. So we're taking that seriously. We are, again, we've spent, I don't know, $300,000-$400,000 building our new site editor that we're launching this summer to make our sites the fastest sites really in the industry, but almost anywhere. So that is something that we've taken seriously, and Google has as well. They are going to rank sites that are more modern, built for mobile, that are simple, clear, and fast loaded. They're going to rank them ahead of others. So what does this have to do with client retention? If your website looks like it's from the 80s, does not look good on mobile, and isn't loaded with helpful content, your clients will notice and be less loyal. That's just the nature of the game. Number 7, having a solid 5-star review profile. I know years ago when we talked to clients about reviews, there's a lot of pushback. I think everyone has turned the corner and is seeing how reviews make such a difference in both the referrals. So people that refer to you, they're going to Google your name. What do they see about you when they Google your brand or your personal name? You better have 5-star reviews. What Google thinks about you is your reputation. I mean, think about that. It's, you might be the greatest at your job. You may be more knowledgeable than anybody, but there is a thing, smoke and mirrors. And, the people that present images that are 5-star, Google also perceives and gets those signals and promotes those businesses and ranks them better. So it's something to think about. Again, what Google thinks about you is your reputation. So let's work to attract as many 5-star reviews as possible. So we work closely with clients to help them attract numerous 5-star reviews across multiple marketplaces. We don't want to just do one. We focus on Google My Business because Google owns Google My Business. YouTube is not for reviews, but it's a thought for everybody. Those that are using our YouTube video tools, the reason you do that is YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. So, get as much good content on those type of sites. So GMB, TaxBuzz, and CountingWorks, after we optimize those, we'll look at other sites based on what type of competitive nature in search there is. So do we need to gain Yelp reviews? Do we need to gain Thumbtack reviews? Whatever, Bark, whatever. So there's other various sites, but we want these third-party sites to be loaded with 5-star reviews. And then what we do as well with our platform is when you get these 5-star reviews, we will share those on your social media sites that are hooked up and automatically do that. So it's just another way to validate to your clients that I am working with the best of the best. It will generate more referrals and keep your retention rate high. So Google your brand and decide if you would hire you based on what you find. So maybe what happens if your client Googles your brand and sees a review profile at 4 or lower? Will that hurt your client retention? Probably. They'll start questioning why they work with you. Are they missing something? I think they're great, but obviously other clients are having bad experiences. Why are they so upset? So prioritize a review profile across sites is absolutely crucial. It's a big takeaway from this. If you have not sent out a review campaign with us yet through our automated email, please reach out to customer success after this workshop and request that they do it. Now is a perfect time right after tax season. And we have clients literally with hundreds of reviews, and it makes a big difference in how Google ranks them. Number 8, being likable and showing some personality. And what's great about our client base is we see all kinds of people, and it's great when they actually put their personality across on their websites. One of our clients, and actually a bigger client of ours, Murphy3.com, they have a culture at their business, and they put that culture online. They put that culture in their website design, and I think it makes a difference in their conversion, the size of their growth rates, everything, and of course the retention rates. So there are countless stories out there that are testament to the intimate nature of tax and accounting, pro-client relationship. Many in my family work in this industry, so I've seen how their clients, come to social events, go golfing with us. So we see there's a big connection between many clients and their tax and accounting pro. By putting your personality out into your marketing material, it will make you more likable and dramatically improve your retention rates. This is backed by all the data in our client base. 100% those that are ranked the best, that have the 5-star reviews, have their newsletter running to many clients, they're doing the best and their retention rates are higher. So this is obvious. The reason accountants are ranked number 1 as the most trusted advisors is because you are trustworthy. And there is no trust in a relationship between two people, then the relationship dies. So as a CPA, EA, or tax accounting professional, your ultimate goal is to earn the trust of your clients to drive more successful financial outcomes. I talk about that often in all of our webcasts and workshops, but I think it's worth repeating here. So improving your client retention, by focusing on the client first, you are setting yourself and your practice up for success. It starts with optimizing every touch point, from how the prospect discovers your brand to onboarding to your client engagement through ongoing communication. Having a hole in even one part of the cycle can enable unwanted and expensive churn. One item that I have mentioned in other workshops that you may not be aware of is we developed a Missed You Last Year campaign. We have an email built into Accounting Works Pro. In the marketing library, we have multiple brochures that you can print out and mail to clients that we have found. There's data, we've done surveys, 25 to 50% of clients actually want to come back to you. Think about that. They moved away, they got married, they moved away, thought they couldn't work with you anymore. Well, hey, guess what? You have TeleAccountant, you have digital technology. Of course, we can still work together. And by outreaching, they may be embarrassed. They may, I made a bad mistake, or I chose a new person and they're just not as good as you. By opening the communication, it makes it much easier for that client to come back. So the Missed You Last Year material that we have inside the system is a great tool to, and again, our stats show 25 to 50% of clients will come back if you put a win-back campaign in there. So that's another way to kind of correct your client retention, or keep your client retention high by having churn come back as a win-back. So those are the main points. I hope you have found that very valuable. We're going to get into the Q&A now. I know, Lauren, we have time, I think, for maybe 3 questions, and we'll go from there. Again, thank you.
All right, so let's jump into some Q&A. We've got a few questions. The first one is, what are some tips for getting old clients back?
Yeah, and that's a good question. We've actually been working on some of our own product development. We have already some Missed You Last Year email campaigns. We have a lot of brochures that we've created that are in our PDF library, if you've ever jumped into that section of our product. But I've been doing some research on just some statistics and where things are going. And a study, I hope I get this percentage right, but a study I read by a client win-back revealed that 26% of clients who have returned to your practice reported that they actively want to pursue re-engagement, right? So if you lose X number of clients and you had some sort of win-back campaign, the chances are at least a quarter of your clients will come back when properly done. We had some statistics with our Missed You Last Year campaigns back when we had more print-related products, and we saw people that saw near 50%, and that's dramatic. If you could cut your churn rate in half, I think you would be a very happy person. Obviously, you wouldn't have to be chasing as much new business. So, when we talk about a Missed You Last Year campaign, what you can do is you can target lapsed clients, right, who are unhappy with their current alternatives. And when I say that is, some people left you, maybe they got married, maybe they moved away, maybe they changed professions, maybe they did have a bad experience and you didn't know about it, but then they have this new professional that they found, or they tried to, amateur hour on a DIY type of situation, and they realize, whoa, I am in over my head. So what's nice about a Missed You Last Year campaign is it makes it very easy. It takes the stress out of them, or the embarrassment of them coming back to you to ask, you're doing that. You're opening the door of the communication. So, this is a great way to re-engage those clients. And, if you utilize our email templates, we built that into our email campaign library. We also, again, in the library there, I think there's 3 or 4 different brochures that talk about coming back and client retention. So definitely check those out. I think it's well worth it. And obviously the math, can work out very much, and it just takes a little bit of effort. So definitely look into doing that.
Absolutely. I would say also we hear a lot of pros that just don't really know where to start with an email campaign like that or any other. And so it's really nice that we have these templates that are written by our experts that you can just plug right in and get started. That's really helpful.
It makes it very, very easy.
Yep. So for our second question, I don't have enough time to manage a marketing system. Can any of this be automated?
It kind of makes me laugh because of course it can be automated. That's what we do. And our platform is built to automate and take work off your plate. And occasionally we'll see people who never got off the ground with us and their excuse is, I didn't have time to invest in it. And the reality is all we need is your database. If you need help exporting your database from your tax software product, we have knowledge-based articles, or our customer success team could point you in the right direction. But we take a majority of this work off. Think about it. We're writing all your blog content. We're keeping your website up to date. We're refreshing your website. We're automating your client newsletter. We're automating your social posts. What we need is, one, to get the database in there. B, get your social accounts set up, because we legally obviously don't own your social accounts. But from that point on, you're going to be successful. It just literally runs itself. So if someone's going to ask me, what are the 3 quick steps to do to be successful with AccountantWorks Pro? Upload your client database, connect your social media accounts. And number 3, one of the most important and easy things to do.
Absolutely. And I think we have one last question here. Why would you say that simpler websites tend to convert better?
Yeah, I just got cut. You must have missed. I must have dropped off for you.
Oh, I think you did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was still very much.
Were you in the middle of an answer?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
All right, let's do.
I was going to say you said 3 things and then you said one thing and it just went silent. I thought that was kind of weird.
Oh, no. Let's do number 2 again.
Okay. All right. For our second question, I don't have enough time to manage a marketing system. Can any of this be automated?
Well, Lauren, yes, it can. And that's kind of the concept of why AccountantWorks Pro exists. We know you're busy and we know you want to spend time working with advising clients versus working on your marketing campaign, writing blog articles, creating white papers, whatever. So our platform is basically built to automate and take this work off your plate. When I hear people don't have time, it's one of the things that actually, it's a trigger item. If you ever want to trigger me, you say, I don't have enough time. And I would look at it as, how much time does it take to output, your database, to get your database loaded into our system? How much time does it take to connect your social media posts? It's 10 to 15 minutes. And, even if you want everything to run on autopilot, think about it. We automate your blog posts. We refresh your website. We're working on the SEO side and any technology changes in legal requirements, reCAPTCHA, you name it. We're doing that for you. You don't have to stress about it. Your email newsletter is automated. Your social media posts are automated. So we definitely are doing, there is no such thing as not enough time. So the 3 quick steps, we ask every client to do ASAP. If you do this, 99% of you are going to be successful. Upload your client database, connect your social accounts, send a review request campaign to start bringing in 5-star reviews. And what I always say is these 3 steps have one key thing in common. All our most successful practices have completed them already. And that's a differentiator. So, if anything, I beg of you to spend that 15 minutes. And if you need assistance getting your database out, our customer success staff, we've written knowledge-based articles on exporting. They can also, for whatever reason, the software is not familiar with us, we can assist you in getting that out for you. But definitely, there's no such thing as not enough time. And that is what AccountantWorks Pro is, an automated marketing platform.
Yep. And I know it might sound like an exaggeration, but we've checked and it really does take probably 15 minutes to get those 3 things done. And you save hours every month on everything that we automate for you. So it's definitely worth it. For our last question, Lee, why do simpler websites convert better? What do you think?
Well, what I think, and then what data and science tells us, right? There's a big trend. You're seeing some of the highest converting websites getting simpler and simpler. And it is a battle we'll have with some of our clients are not familiar with some of the best practices and what's working, what's not. They'll see, another website that they think is, oh, look at all that information and all the designations and the way it's built. A lot of our competitors utilize these techniques where they have so much going on the page that the reality is if you send it over to a Google speed test, you'll see you fail miserably. And what that means with Google's new algorithm changes that account page performance speed as part of the user experience and how they index your site, you're not going to index well. So that's issue 1. Issue 2 is the science behind it. We're doing some studies. We're actually revamping our own AccountantWorks Pro website that we're going to be rolling out here in a little bit. And we're kind of looking at, okay, what are the best practices? So, the reason websites that use fewer graphics and color are considered more attractive is partly they don't require our eyes and brains to work as hard to decode, store, and process information. If you're out here in the West Coast, you'll know In-N-Out Burger. I always use it as an example, or even Apple. So both Apple and In-N-Out Burger, they use less for more. And guess what? They're the strongest brands in their categories. And it's easier for me to make a decision. I don't have to go through a menu and go back and forth in my brain to decide what to eat. Here's the variations. When it comes to Apple, it's the same thing. Super clean, design. So the more color and light variations on the page, the more work that your brain has to use. Your eye has to read, basically you get tired, right? Your eye has to read the text a couple times while interpreting the meaning of each word, right? So if there's a ton of content, you have to understand, what are they saying? What does this mean? You might even not understand it correctly. So simplifying makes it a lot easier. So, that's a lot of work for your brain when you have a ton of stuff, a ton of processing going around. So we like to say when we design sites, and a lot of our new 3.0 tool that we're launching here soon is really working on the hierarchy of how the fonts, the sizes, the design, the copy. We optimize a page for basically visual information processing. So what that does is, how can you communicate as much as you can in as few elements as possible? So, when you're working with us and we're doing a design, don't start getting where you become a creative director and you start overriding some of our suggestions, because our suggestions work. If you want to be successful, follow our lead and you'll see better results. So as I mentioned, our new 3.0 site editor launch, we're taking page load speed and simplification. The theme for Accounting Works and my staff and all my meetings this year is simplify. So better user experiences in the client journey. And we're doing that in our clients' websites. We're doing that in the interface that you're going to be using as we continue to iterate and refactor the code. So this is a lot of important things. So, and plus, sites that load faster is a direct variable in how Google ranks your website in search results. So what we're thinking is our clients are going to have a huge competitive advantage against all of our competitors, and even these bulky WordPress sites, a lot of the out of the box sites that the quote unquote amateur DIY solutions just are not addressing the speed elements the way they should be. And the reason is it takes a lot of money to create code that is so thin and speedy to load. We've spent now, we're about $300,000 or $400,000 in development on the new site editor alone, and that's all about speed. I want lightning fast websites, and you're going to see that these simpler websites will be converting better, and they'll rank better as well. So hopefully you'll listen to that advice and utilize that in your own, if you do a redesign with us and your own site design. So I want to conclude that. I think we're about at time. So thank you, Lauren, for those nice questions. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. If you do have any questions about improving your client retention, reach out to us at help@accountingworkspro.com. Our customer success staff is ready for you. You can also use our chat bot to ask questions. Hopefully we have some knowledge-based articles there already, or you can reach out and chat, and if needed, we will have a tier 2 support person get a hold of you. But again, thank you very much for attending this workshop. We look forward to hearing and seeing you soon.